economy picking versus alternate picking. What's your view on that? And what do you? I think you're an alternate picking guy, mostly.
Primarily, yeah. I use both, but I try to definitely stick to alternate as much as possible. Primarily, the only things I'll really use economy for are like a more extravagant kind of arpeggio shapes, where you got to cram extra notes in the middle and the end of them and stuff like that, like seventh arpeggios, or really massive inversions of them. But the only times I'll ever use it for like a scale run, like something like, like yeah, I even just blew it on the way down because I don't do it that often. I only really ever use it if for something like that, like a 3-note per string thing. If I'm already sweeping before or after that part, because my hand's already kind of in that kind of motion. Like there's a part in my song Omni, in like the main like solo part of it, where everything drops out for a second, and then I play this really fast arpeggio and this run up, and I was trying to practice it for like ever, the alternate picking, but it just wasn't able to get it as clean as I wanted, like in the moment playing the song start to finish. So I tried it economy picking, and I was able to play that run like a million times cleaner because I was already sweeping right beforehand. And then I have another song called Titan, which is just obnoxiously fast. I never expected to be able to have to play it live, which is why I wrote it. I was literally just playing that game Titanfall, if you remember that one.
I remember that one.
Yeah. I played the shit out of that game when it first came out, and I was playing it, and just all of a sudden I just had this idea for a riff in my head, and I just turned over to my computer and just made this riff. I just had like half-timed it. I played it like literally like... I was like, all right, that's cool. And then I 200%ed it, put double kick underneath of it. I was like, damn, that's a sick riff. But that was like years, like 2 years, I think, before I actually went to go do a solo album. So I probably would have made it a little bit different had I known I would ever have to play it live. But that's another one where there's a run in there, an ascending one, like where I economy picked that just because there's an arpeggio right at the end of it and everything's going by so fast. I was just able to get it down cleaner that way. But other than that, I feel like, or even for arpeggios, if I can alternate pick them, I will. Like 2 weeks from All That Remains, for example, that solo in there is this little 3-string arpeggio part where it's not like, it's not slow, but it's at like a more like moderate pace to where I could alternate pick it, and I'm able to keep like the subdivisions more even, because every note has its own strike, its own like motion to it. So it's just easier to keep that consistency, where versus sweeping, you have like 3 notes with one motion. So if everything has its own like dedicated strike, everything's like punchier, more articulate. So if I can alternate pick it, I will.
Yeah, I think the thing about economy, I think I do a mixture of kind of a randomness, because I could never actually sit there and concentrate and practice it in the same way again and again. And the economy picking, in case people don't know, is you basically don't alternate. You just kind of do this motion like you're sweeping through the scale, but the numbers have to match. So you have to have, you have to have odd numbers going down, and if you're going to return, you have to have an even number to go back up. So you're working on counting the numbers, right? If you want to be perfectly correct on note, per note.
You can't do anything like 2-string or 4-string per note kind of stuff. Like you have to alternate pick that kind of stuff. I've only the main thing that I use it for is like really huge arpeggios. So something like this, like. Which is just a giant minor shape, but there's like multiple notes on, like the first 2 strings both have 2 notes on it, so it's like down. So that you just have to like cram notes in the middle, and like for like this major 7 shape, which you definitely know. Yeah. like I'll pick all of that and not do the hammer on in there, so I have to do like a little pickup in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think that would definitely still be considered economy picking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got to the point where I thought, you know what? You don't have to play the same every time by kind of randomness. That's my kind of weird idea, was because if you play a scale the same way all the time, you got the same dynamics. If you kind of mix it up and don't really care, you kind of make it a little bit different than what's on the book. And also the laziness of just concentrating and getting it that way. So it's a kind of the view I had back then.
Being able to do it both too is actually good. Like, you definitely shouldn't neglect one or the other. Like, for example, one of the old bands I was in, there's this a solo that I still see people cover all the time, even today, because it's a cool arpeggio part. It's definitely not easy to play, but it's not like the most far super advanced thing either. That Follow the Sign solo, I recorded it economy picking, but I remember there's a video of me recording it too, playing it economy picked, but live I would always alternate pick it. But it's definitely good to do both. Like so this is what it would look like if I were to economy pick it. Yeah, you can see my right hand still. Sick. I would never economy pick that ending run, just because it's I don't know, it's just so much punchier to alternate pick all that kind of stuff. But now I'll play it alternate picking, and it's definitely I feel like it's more even and just like articulate throughout like the whole thing versus actually like economy or sweeping it. Comment sections of guitar videos, and then there's just two turds arguing back and forth with each other, and eventually gets to the point where they're attacking each other personally. Like, I've kind of stopped reading YouTube comments because of that. It's just it's just dumb.
Yeah, YouTube comments, they can be pretty brutal. Any website you feel like the people are a little bit extreme? I mean, any kind of like
YouTube.
Yeah. I always find the Ultimate Guitar stuff quite funny. I mean, they go a bit extreme on Ultimate Guitar. Do you feel that?
Well, in which part? I'm rarely on that site, like just because of my mentality of how, because in my thought process, like, the Ultimate Guitar is kind of turned, or at least with my experience with them, they're kind of like the Spotify for tabs, because they have a subscription based platform that you can learn music on, but you have to pay $5 a month for it. It's called like Tab Pro or something like that. And then they're supposed to be paying out royalties from the money that they generate from their service, because people are learning other people's material on their platform. They're making money from it. With me, at least, like my own personal solo stuff, they weren't doing that, and I had to reach out to them and get them to actually give me that. And then I told them to not, but I think what it was is there was no, like, everything was so new. I don't think it was their fault at all. I just think like publishing and all of that stuff hadn't been set up quite properly yet, so they didn't know where to send that funds, which is what happened with me. But when I contacted them about All That Remains, because I just wanted to make sure that same thing wasn't happening, everything from them was already being paid out through publishing and stuff like that, because all that stuff had already been set up for forever. So I imagine and I hope that that's the case with everyone else that's on there, but I just know from personal experience, for my own personal stuff, they weren't doing that. But I just think it's because it was still so new that everything hadn't been set up quite yet. But I make more money off people just buying it directly from me, so and that helps me pay my rent and eat food.
Yeah, and it's directly transcribed by you, or you get?
I do it all myself.
Yeah, so only accuracy. You want to if you want to be half as good, if you're lucky to get half as good, Jason Richardson, the tabs are there. If you want to be there, get it directly from him. There you go. Yeah, JasonRichardsonMusic.com.
Yes. But that's the other thing too with like like the third party stuff where someone else transcribes it, you still have to go through it and critique it and tell them what's right or what's not. So it's like, why don't you just learn how to do it yourself? Save that money of paying someone to transcribe it, and then you get to keep all the profit from it. So it just makes sense to me. But also, I kind of had the benefit too of using Guitar Pro since I was in high school. So I started using 5 was the most recent one out, and now they're on 7. So I've been using it that entire time. So I've gotten pretty efficient with actually like using the program, being able to write stuff out in it.